Hey everybody, sorry for the kinky hair. I washed my hair and haven't had time to straighten it yet, so it's a little wild. My hat looks a little crooked. Either my camera's crooked or the hat's crooked, one of the two. So it looks like we got 4 people in here. I'm not sure how many people migrated over from Steve's stream. Hopefully some of you did. I was in the middle of making a cake for Easter tomorrow to take to my mom and dad's. I'll have to finish it up a little later. This is not a long movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's an hour and 14 minutes, so I should have plenty of time to finish up my cake with the little green grass icing, and I've got some fondant that I'm going to make some little bunny rabbits to put on the top of the cake. And the cake is chocolate because chocolate's my favorite kind of cake. So I'm looking forward to taking that to my mom and dad's tomorrow. Texas, you say, hi, Dana, I got coleslaw thighs. Well, I guess if you like coleslaw, that might be a good thing. But, I'm sure Steve told all of y'all that, that were in his stream that he and I went to see John Wick Chapter 4 or John Wick 4 or whatever you want to call it, yesterday. I liked it. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't want to give away the ending or anything like that, so I'm not going to go into big detail about it. I just, I wasn't sure how to take the ending. I think Steve took it one way and I took it the other. So, again, don't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, that is thinking about seeing it. So As I said, and as Steve said in his stream, tonight is Drive-In Massacre, and next Saturday will be Ghost House, and we finish up April with He Knows You're Alone on the 22nd of April, and House on Sorority Row on the 29th. And I got most of May figured out. The 6th and 7th, which will be the first weekend of May, you get a bonus watch along because it's the first weekend. So May 6th, we've got Death Ship. May 7th is Graduation Day. May 13th is The Prowler. And May 20th is Eyes of a Stranger. And I know there was another movie that somebody mentioned that I said I was going to put on the 27th. And if nobody remembers, it's in here tonight what that one was. I'll probably have to go back and look at my have to go back and look at one of my latest videos and see what it was that we decided on. So, if anybody wants to join me live on the stream, hey, John, you said, "What's up, Dana? I'm sitting in truck watching for a sec. I've been at this full moon con this weekend." Oh, wow. Did you have a good time, John? Probably pretty wiped out. I know we get wiped out when we go to conventions. Anymore, we do. We're getting to be some old folks, so we get kind of tired real quick now. But I was going to say, if anybody wants to join in live on the stream at any point in time, um, feel free to do so. I have the StreamYard link in the chat. I can put it back in the chat if the chat goes up and then you don't see it. Also, there is a YouTube link for a pretty decent copy of Drive-In Massacre, which it took me about 3 tries to find one that didn't look like crap. So this one must be pulled from the Blu-ray. I'm thinking was probably the best that's ever going to look. TJ, you said, was it me? Because I don't remember what movie, LOL. I just can't remember. I'm going to have to go back and watch some of the last few streams and see what it was. I should have written it down, but you know me. John, you say, watching a Friday 5 and Halloween 2018 screening tonight. Dick Wind and Nick Castle are there. Should be fun, but I'm tired as fuck. I would imagine so. You also say, hell yes, I'm ready to sleep. LOL. Hey, Blissful. And you may hear Brandon bumping around back there. We took him to the vet today, and they did some blood work on him, took some urine from him, took a stool sample, and all that. And even though tomorrow is Easter, our vet said that there were several sick animals at the clinic, so he was going to be there tomorrow. So he's supposed to give us the test results from the blood test to see if anything showed up. They also gave us some prescription food for him. They gave him a shot, which is supposed to make his belly feel better, because the vet said there's a possibility that his stomach is irritated, and that's why he's not wanting to eat too much. And so he also sent us home with some medicine, and also some medicine for his tummy, and also medicine to help him sleep as well. So we're just kind of waiting to see what the test results reveal, if anything. We hope nothing. But you never know when they get 15, 16 and above, and sometimes even before that, they start, having some issues. So we'll just see see what happens, see what we find out, see what our next course of action is with him. John, you say, hey, Tex and TJ. Yeah, lots of crazy stuff. Sean Clark and Pizzow were here earlier, randomly said hey to them in passing. Isn't that crazy when you see people? I mean, just out of the blue, you see them. You just wasn't necessarily planning on seeing them, but you see them. That was probably it, TJ. So you know what? I'm betting that was it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fill that in my hole here for May 27th. And then that takes care of May. And then the June movies, I'll have to start getting those together and try to stay ahead of the game on that. John, you said, poor Brandon. I hope he gets better. Doggies are family. Yes, they are. They most certainly are, John. We're hoping for the best with him. John, you said, yeah, I was like, what the fuck are they doing in Nashville? LOL. Yeah. I don't think I've seen Sean Clark actually at a convention in a while. And damn, I don't think I've seen Pizzow in years at a convention. So, yeah. Okay. So, I want to ask again if anybody wants to come in live on here with me. You don't have to necessarily say, yeah, I want to now. If, anybody comes in here later or that's in here now with the exception of John, I don't think he's going to be doing that. But if you want to come in live on the stream, audio only is fine. It looks like we've got 8 people in here now. Oh goodness. I'm sorry, guys. And so that's quite a few people. So I'm probably going to go ahead and get started with the movie here in just a sec. I am not sure about tomorrow night. I really want to do another Sunday night trash. I know it's a holiday. I know it's Easter. Might not have a lot of people come in there. People might just be expecting different kinds of streams other than me talking about trashing movies. But I really want to do it. So unless I'm totally, so sorry, completely and totally wiped out, I probably will be doing a Sunday night trash. Monday night will be the second part of my Twin Peaks stream. I will be covering 10 more episodes. So if anybody wants to join me for that one, feel free. I know there was some sickness in different people's families and asthma trouble and stomach virus or something, and others. I heard, through Steve, who heard from Dirk, that Darren's pretty sick. So I don't expect him in tonight. I think he's been sick for the last few days or something. Hadn't really been out of bed, from my understanding. So, I hope he gets to feeling better soon. Me, I'm just tired of shit all of a sudden. I think I'm going to go grab. Before we get really into this, I know we got 8 people and I don't want to lose all of these people before I get started, but I think I'm going to go pop me some popcorn. And hell, I might just put it in I've got the little popcorn containers that look like what you get at the movies sometimes. So I can just munch around on popcorn if you guys don't mind during the watch along tonight. John, you say Sean was with Chris Nelson, I think, because they did the show together. Yeah, I bet they do. John, you say, man, that sucks. I'm glad COVID let up some, but still scary to get out much. Yeah. I think I have, John. I think I have slept standing up before. Like, I was dozing on and off the other night, just sitting at my computer doing stuff, just working on stuff. It's craziness. So I'm going to go stick that microwave popcorn into the microwave real quick and let y'all get settled in. Um, I don't know how many of you are watching Drive-In Massacre from the link, the YouTube link I put. Let me go ahead and put it in here again for anybody that might need it. And I will also repost the link to join me live on the stream. So this first link is the YouTube link for Drive-In Massacre, which came out the year I was born, 1976. And let me put the link to join me live on the stream in case you guys want to do that. And I will be right back. I'm also going to check on Brandon while I'm in there. Would you like any popcorn? Would you like any popcorn? Okay, so why I'm letting that pop in the microwave, um, I'm going to go ahead and read through some things, kind of ramble on a little bit before we get started. You have slept standing up, TJ? Texas, you say it's definitely not fun sleeping standing up, lol. Oh, wow, Bliss. Will you fall asleep in the shower? Yeah, TJ, I agree. Water sleeping is dangerous, lol. Yeah, Bliss, will you say, TJ, I know we're a life preserver now. Um, oh, well, thank you, Blissful. I mean, usually Steve tells me my hair is crazy when it's like this, and usually I straighten it. But when it's got this curl in it, you can't, or maybe that's just wishful thinking. You can't see as much as the gray. I mean, it's there, but I think the curls hide it a little bit. So thank you very much. TJ, you say years ago I nodded off driving and had no memory of how I got home. Oh, I'm glad you made it home safe though, TJ. Um, that's the important thing. I know. Speaking of doing that, I know several years ago. It's been quite a few years ago. My aunt Sandy, my mom's sister, was on. She was going to see mental health people, but they weren't very good people. I'll just say that. But it was what she could afford at the time. And we all know, horror stories of going to the wrong kind of mental health people. Well, she ended up going to a group, just such a group. So they kept giving her samples of the medication she was on so she could get it for free or whatever. But they kept giving her different dosage amounts, and she got confused and was like, I don't know what she did, but she basically blacked out on the way home from work one night and drove up in somebody's yard, and she had no memory of it. She had to call my parents crying, and they had to go get her. It was just a big mess. And my mom and I went to her house, to her trailer, and we found an ungodly amount of this medication that she was on, all different dosages. And we laid it out on the kitchen table. It covered the kitchen table. And we took pictures of it and stuff. And my mom was very, very angry when she talked to those people, which I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all. And it got the psychiatrist there in trouble because he wasn't a good doctor anyway. You don't, give somebody with the problems my aunt was having, like different dosages of medicine and have her get confused like that. So, you know, I hate to get off on like a bummer subject, but that could have been a really bad thing that could have happened to her. Thankfully, it wasn't. And thankfully, we got everything straightened out. But just the idea that, we like to think that we can trust doctors and all of that, but sometimes you can't. Blissful, you say, TJ in the rock world, we call that Tuesday night. Texas says, yikes, TJ. Okay, so I'm going to go get my popcorn before we had 9 and now we dropped down to 8. So I don't want to lose any more people. See, guys, I told you I had popcorn buckets that are a lot like the ones that you get at movie theaters. So I love these daggone things. And these are plastic ones, so I can wash them out and reuse them. I also have some paper ones or whatever that waxing material is, that you can use like once or twice or whatever. But most of the time I use these because I can use them over and over again. And TJ, you say, yeah, Texas for sure. I remember waking up in the driveway parked with the car off. Ow. So it's like, TJ, were you like coming home from work or something? I know sometimes people like, well, get really sleepy coming home from work, especially if they have to work late shifts or rotating shifts or all that crap. And people have been known to do that. TJ, you say, thank the Lord and baby Jesus. I had autopilot brain. LOL. Ooh, 3 a.m. home from work. Yeah. Ooh, bless your heart. Goodness. Uh, I hope y'all don't mind me eating this popcorn. This is Orville Redenbacher movie theater popcorn, which is a little on the expensive side nowadays for 12 bags. But man, it's good. It's good stuff, guys. And you would think that I'd be sick of movie popcorn because we just went to see that new John Wick movie. And of course I had popcorn there and an icy. And although these weren't really ices in the traditional sense, they were frozen, but they were like Fanta drinks. Like I got blue raspberry, and then they had frozen Coke, and then they had pina colada flavor, but the pina colada was out, so I couldn't have tried that even if I wanted to. Blissful, you say that's what you buy? Yeah. Other than what I pop in my popcorn popper that looks like you've seen those mini versions that look like what they've got at the movie theaters. If you get, the right kind of oil, usually coconut oil, and you put that flavor call on it, usually that stuff tastes pretty damn close to what the movie theaters make. Now, for microwave popcorn, though, sorry guys, my allergies have been acting up as well. Got to coughing in the movie theater yesterday. Um, but as far as microwave popcorn, the Orville Redenbacher movie theater tastes pretty close. Runs a close second. Now, I used to get the Act 2 movie theater popcorn, but remember several years ago when there was that big fiasco about what was actually used in the Act 2 movie theater popcorn? Some kind of chemical they said was harmful. And so they pretty much pulled that off the shelves, or at least they did around where I'm at. So, um, oh well, thank you, Kelly. That's two people that have told me how pretty my hair is like this. So somebody needs to tell Steve because he just thinks it's all crazy and wild and stuff, and likes it much better when I straighten it. But thank you guys. That really makes me feel good, makes me feel better about my hair. Actually, TJ, in my neck of the woods, Jiffy Pop still is a thing. Um, so yeah. Let's what you say, TJ. I get that every once in a while for nostalgia reasons. Yep. Jiffy Pop would definitely be a nostalgia type of deal. So we've dropped down to 6 now. I'm gonna tell him that, Kelly. You say he's just jealous you have hair. Oh man. Um. So, does anybody right now, here and now, want to join in live on the stream? You don't have to say yeah now. You can say yeah when we get in the middle of the movie. As long as it's not the final few seconds, then, like I always say, people can come in at any point in time that they want. Um, and I can, post those links, both of those links. Again, one for the movie, which is on YouTube, and one for the StreamYard link as well. Um, but I think in about another minute or so, we will go ahead and get started with this movie. By the way, how many of you guys are planning on watching it tonight as we do this watch along? And I'm going to mute the sound on mine. Because I didn't know how many of you had the Blu-ray version. I have the Blu-ray version, but again, I'm lazy. So I'm not, I didn't want to get my Blu-ray player or Blu-ray drive out and get it all hooked up. And so that's why I'm watching the YouTube version. But I do have, the Blu-ray from Severin. So some of you may have it. And by the way, that girl there that's hanging upside down is Janice Blythe. I don't think she went by Janice Blythe in this movie or in the credits. I believe she went by, I guess, a pseudonym or whatever you want to call it. Fake name. For this movie. Severin put this out a few years back. George Buckflower is on here. Good old Buckflower. His daughter, Burkina Flowers. I think that's his daughter. I'm pretty sure it is. Texas, you said I probably will, though I've seen it before. Oh my goodness, Blissful. You're making peach and cherry pies. Oh my gosh. I love cherry pies. I love them. I'm more of a fan of peach cobbler than I am peach pie, but I wouldn't be against trying peach pie. But man, a piece of cherry pie. I'm like, going back to Twin Peaks, I'm like cherry pie, like Agent Cooper likes cherry pie, So, anyway, let's go ahead and get started, guys. And if somebody comes in here later, or even people that are in here now, if you don't get queued up here at the beginning, you want to know what the timestamp is, just please ask. Again, if anybody wants to join me live at any point in time, please let me know, and I will be glad to add you. So, I'm at the black screen right before the movie starts. There's not really a lot of fanfare for this movie. We don't have up to million like production companies that come up like a lot of movies now. So we'll do the three, two, one, and then press play. As I say, press play. So three, two, one, press play. So we open, of course, on SAM or Sam Productions Inc. Presents, and we saw a drive-in screen there. On August 10th in a California drive-in, it all began. Now, as I said before we had this particular watch along, I'm sure this movie was created solely for a drive-in market at that time because of how the ending is. Um, which probably made it more effective. But I still find this movie a fun movie to watch at home, home video market and all that stuff. So I'm not saying you cannot have fun with it, but I almost wish they would bring this back to the drive-in, for a limited run or whatever, because that would be really cool. And there's the title. And yes, there is a guy named Jeremy on here. And that is Jeremy there who had the flashlight and is waving the cars. Tiffany Jones. I believe that's the name that Janice Blythe goes by. That guy there that you just saw, there's Jeremy again. The guy there, Austin Johnson or whatever his name is in the movie. This guy has got to be one of the biggest dickheads in low budget horror movie history I've ever seen. And if you're listening to the audio, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. TJ, you say cool cars? Yeah, there's some cool cars on here. A few of them. I've went to some drive-ins in my time, and I never saw a guy like Austin Johnson, thank goodness. And the screenplay, you'll notice, is by John Goff and Buck Flowers, who worked together on a lot of things. John Goff actually plays one of the cops in this movie. And they were also on John Carpenter's Fog together, the guys that are on the boat at the beginning. Does he really, Texas? I don't know if I ever really paid attention to what Ted V. Michaels looks like. Okay, so there is Janice Blythe, who you guys will remember from The Hills Have Eyes, who played Ruby. So evidently, this couple is getting married, and they want to have one more fling in the back seat at the drive-in. But we're going to see something odd here, or I think it's odd. She's eager and ready to go once for old time's sake. Okay, so they start taking their jackets and stuff off. But then something odd is going to occur. Like he's taking his glasses off, and you think they're going to, but now all of a sudden, all his attention is on the movie. That, my friends, does not seem realistic. What guy turns down sex at the drive-in of all places just so he can see a movie again that he's like seen 4 times? So you guys that are in the chat, help me out here. Would you do this, guys? If your lady was saying that she wanted to have a little rolling hay in the back seat, would you be wanting to watch this damn movie that you've seen 4 times? Okay. So this is going to be the first like spectacular shot. This is the big shot of the movie, I think. There's a sword. Damn. Yeah. Okay, so she has no idea what has just happened to him. Now she does. And this is going to be the second big kill of the film. Because Janice Blythe is up right to the neck. Janice Blythe's character is usually on the poster and the front of the DVDs and the Blu-rays and stuff. This scene here where she falls out of the car and then her arms fall down here in just a second. There we go. There's the shot. Now we go to the cops. Run by a couple killed at the drive-in. Now, John Goff is the guy they're showing now. Well, not this guy, but this guy. He was friends with Buck Flowers for a long, long time. And they worked on a lot of different projects together. And TJ, you say nerds. LOL. Yeah. Texas, I agree with you. Horrible edits. But I just find this movie so much fun, though. I don't think this got a very good reviews. I think it got a 3 point something on IMDb. Holly, this Austin Johnson, he's got a hell of a wardrobe. So I think this is the cops arriving. And they're going to question Jeremy and Austin Johnson about what happened the night before. Look at the cheap prices, guys. Did you see that? Fries like 35 cents, barbecue 80 cents, a hamburger is 70, cheeseburgers 80. I mean, we won't see those prices again. TJ, you said probably by Italian Giallo since it was, but oh, probably influenced by Italian Giallo since it was before even Halloween. More than likely, if it was influenced by anything. You can get a burrito for 60 cents. I don't know what an orange whip is, but you could evidently get that drink for 50 cents. Is anybody, are orange whips, is that a real thing? Or was it a real thing at drive-ins? What do you guys think of that lavender sweater and jacket combo that Austin Johnson has on? Okay, so Austin Johnson, I'm not sure if he has yet or not, but he refers to Jeremy as a puke. Charming, isn't he? So we find out um, that Mr. Van Heusen, who is the big guy over the drive-in, used to have a circus, and Jeremy or Gormy, he tells Austin Johnson his name is Gormy, but his friends can call him uh, Jeremy. But anyway, Mr. Van Heusen owned a circus, and then he ended up closing the circus down in order to open this drive-in. Now, Mr. Van Heusen is not there. He's on vacation or something, or on a business trip. So Jeremy is telling them that he found the two bodies of the kids, as he refers to them. And evidently, I think Jeremy and maybe Austin Johnson were sword swallowers when the circus was in town. And Mr. Van Heusen taught him the trade. So we know that the two people that were killed at the beginning of the film were killed with a sword. And so Jeremy is telling the two cops here that Mr. Van Heusen has a fantastic sword collection. But the cops ask him, "Do you know where Mr. Van Heusen keeps his sword collection?" He's like, "No, he takes it with him wherever he goes." Or I guess I should say carnival. I think they refer to it as a carnival, not a circus. Now Jeremy's talking about a guy who comes around almost every night and wants to peek in people's cars. So also, Jeremy is talking about how Austin Johnson pushes people around. One of these days, somebody's not going to stand for it. So you have a lot of people here, or several people, that could be the person that's killing people to driving with the sword. So the cop said the carnival may be closed, but the freaks are still hanging around. We just talked to two of the choicest ones. Well, I'm not sure. We'll see here in a minute. I believe this white car was driving around through the drive-in. and getting ready to pull up beside somebody else's car is the guy that Jeremy was referring to that likes to look. He tries to look younger than he is, and he drives around, kind of creeps around the drive-in looking for a couple who's smooching. As yes, and there he is. Um, so he doesn't want to stay in one place. He basically drives around till he finds a couple that looks like they're getting ready to do the dirty deed in the back seat, and he just wants to um, have them in the act. I guess he gets off on that. Okay, so now we have a couple who the man is married, but this is not his wife. This is, I guess, his girlfriend. And he's telling her he can't just leave his wife. He's got two wonderful kids. And I mean, ladies, how many times have guys done this in movies? A lot. Not just horror movies either. And he's telling her she's going to have to wait, till the right time for him to leave his wife. Now, first of all, most people know it's wrong for him to be fooling around with another woman when he's married. But on the other side of that coin, it's unfair to this woman that he's with that he's, giving her false hope. This sort of reminds me of when Harry met Sally. When Carrie Fisher's character is with this guy, and there's kind of a running joke throughout the movie where she'll say something to the effect that he says he's going to leave his wife, uh, and then I find out he just bought her a really expensive gift, and her friends always tell her he's never going to leave his wife, and she says, "I know, you're right, you're right." And so that, like I said, is a running joke in that movie. Um, but there've been other films where Look Who's Talking, for instance. Kirstie Alley's character is with a guy who turns out to be a dick, pretty much, but she gets pregnant by the guy, and the guy still refuses to leave his wife. Oh, I can't leave my wife now because she's bulimic. And every time you turn around, it's something else. So those kind of situations are unfair to the wife, and they're also unfair to the quote unquote girlfriend. So now we got this guy who's actually peeking in the windows and watching these people as they're making out, pretty much. So this guy pretty much is a big red herring in this movie. I mean, I think most of us are pretty sure that he's more than likely not the killer. Um, but then we also have Austin Johnson and we have Jeremy, who worked with swords. Ah, and speaking of swords, Um, this is one of those skewering scenes where the sword goes to the man and also the woman, impaling both of them. But talking about special effects and stuff, the special effects are pretty good in this, but I don't know what that was that looked like it was on the side of the guy's face or why it needed to be there, but it just looked like a big clump of clay or something. I don't know what it was. Um, Texas, you say fake Florence Henderson and fake Elliot Gould. Yeah, exactly. Um, so while these cops are talking, um, I'm gonna go grab my energy drink real quick and I will return. I'm gonna leave the movie running, of course. Okay, so how are y'all? For those of you that are watching this currently, how are you liking this one? Now, this is another one that I believe Steve couldn't believe that I purchased. Um, which, a lot of people probably think, geez, Dane, I mean, how much do you spend on this thing? Um, but I don't know. I don't recall spending that much on it. Um, and this is actually Mondo Expolito called it grim, bloody, and incredibly entertaining. Theaterofguts.com called it grimy and dirty 70s exploitation nirvana. The sleazy 70s slasher classic restored and remastered for the first time. Like I said, this version that I found on YouTube must be taken from that Blu-ray, because I'm telling you, the other two copies I looked at looked very, very bad. Um, so this is touted as one of the few true slasher movies to predate Halloween and Friday the 13th, and remains the closest you'll ever come to an actual seedy 70s drive-in experience. So I really can't say anything bad about this. Are the production values poor? Yes. Is the acting bad? Yes. Are the edits bad, as Texas said? Yes, they are. But I feel like that this one falls under the heading of so bad it's good. And everybody might not feel that way about it, which is fine. Um, but I just find it infinitely entertaining. I mean, sometimes I feel like I would like to get all these so bad they're good movies together and just have a marathon of them. A personal marathon, not necessarily get on here and have watch alongs for a whole bunch of them. So now the cops are at the guy's house that was creeping around the drive-in, and they're playing on playing good cop, bad cop. Okay, as you're gonna see when they get into this guy's house, one of the guys is gonna seem like he's kind of on the guy's side, and the other cop, actually the cop that's ringing the doorbell, is gonna be the tough one, the tough cop. And there is an interview with this guy, and also an interview with John Goff as well, um, that are really good on this Blu-ray, or I found them, very entertaining. There's also audio commentary with the director Stu Siegel. Um, there's that John Goff interview, Drive-In Days. Norm Sheridan is this guy in this pinkish colored shirt with all I mean, what are people going to expect? You come into a guy's house and he's got naked ladies that looks like he's taken from magazines, the men's magazines all over his wall. Um, yeah, a really trashy looking place. I mean, it's one thing, a lot of guys have looked at adult magazines. A lot of guys, men, have watched dirty movies, but I think it crosses a line somewhere when you've got these naked ladies all over your wall. I mean, maybe this guy doesn't really have anybody come visit him, but if they did, I think this is more distasteful than having horror movie posters or pictures from magazines or something, the horror magazines up on your wall. But perhaps that's just me. This kind of, to me, this kind of display kind of screams I'm a pervert. But I like to know what you guys think about it that are in here. All five of you now. Um, TJ, you say reminds me of an H.G. Lewis flick, but not as gory. Lewis was early to the slasher genre. Yes, he was, TJ. Um, I'm with Texas. TJ, I love H.G. Lewis. Blood Feast, yes. Blood Feast for me was probably the first H.G. Lewis film I ever saw. TJ says, plus Wizard of Gore and 2000 Maniacs. Maybe I need to do a H.G. Lewis movie sometime. we maybe could do Blood Feast. So they're, taking a look around this house, opening cabinets, seeing what they can find. See if they can find anything to pin these murders on this guy. So the guy, John Goff's character, is playing the good cop, is going around scoping things out. The other guy who's playing the bad cop is interrogating this guy. And he's, explaining that he's a truck driver, and he says he checks out the chicks while he's at the drive-in. And so the cop's saying, you got a interesting collection of pictures. So he's also telling him that he's got an interesting set of books. Now, I'm assuming he's talking about adult magazines. Either that or those little comic book type of things that had adult material in them. So they're saying that they're telling him, you're just a pretty much a fixture, should say, over at the drive-in. And he's like, how'd you know I was at the drive-in? And nobody knows my name. And so they're interrogating him more and asking what he saw when he was looking into that car. And he's like, I didn't see anything. So they're telling him that the girl was murdered with a sword and asking him, you don't have any swords around, do you? And so you kind of feel sorry for this guy. Now, I think I was wrong. I think John Goff's character is playing bad cop and the other guy's playing good cop, because he's telling him that my partner thinks you murdered those people at the drive-in, and he's promising he won't go back to the drive-in. So John Goff's character is saying, so if you don't go back to the drive-in and the murder stop, then that we're going to assume that you're the killer. And he's already had a kind of a breakdown moment where he almost cries and he says, I just want to beat my meat, which is kind of funny and kind of sad at the same time. But like I said, you kind of feel sorry for this guy because he really, I mean, you get the idea that he might be a little bit of a perv, but you don't get the feeling that he's a murderer. Um, and he's very embarrassed. He doesn't want his neighbors to know that the cops are over questioning him. And so he says, can you guys just act like we're friends, and, I'm just showing you my car. And he's telling them to look in his trunk because he's got a great collection of tools in there. and he's seeming very nervous, very shifty eyed right now. So they found a bloody towel, which doesn't look good to him. So he just takes off running. He freaks out and takes off running. The cops get in their car. One of the cops gets in the car. The other's trying to run him down. And I mean, again, I think as viewers of the movie, I think we're pretty sure that he is not killing people, but something obviously happened because he has that bloody towel in his car. TJ, you say, seems like this was originally set in a garage, but they couldn't get the location. Oh hell! Now there is a scene towards the end um, that looks like it's in a warehouse or something like that, but um, so they got a hold of Mr. Ingleson, and he's telling them, on my way home, I ran over a dog, and that's where the bloody towel came from. So I guess they didn't have anything on Mr. Ingleson, and so they had to release him. So I believe he's back at the drive-in again after he told them he wouldn't go back. But I believe this is the night that the cops are there. And this is a kind of humorous scene because if this is the scene where the cops are there, one of the cops is dressed like a woman, and at one point in time, the cop that's dressed like a woman and the other cop are acting like they're kissing. So it's a whole really, funny scene. And I think it might show the cop's legs. And obviously, he didn't shave his legs for this little charade. Um, One of the ladies that's in here that plays a character of Arlene, and I'm not sure exactly which one this is, but she was in a lot of adult films, a lot of X-rated films back in the day. Now she looks a little worse for wear, unfortunately, but it happens to the best of us. So um, I'm not sure if it's this one or another. It's a character named Arlene. So she seems she keeps tilting her head and stuff, and she is really more interested in the movie than having sex with her significant other. So this situation seems like a more normal situation than the earlier situation where the man didn't want to have sex and wanted to watch a movie that he had watched 4 times. So the guy's telling her, "You've seen this picture twice." So the man is obviously, wanting to get it on. He doesn't want to watch this movie. He has no interest in this movie. So yeah, so John Goff's character is dressed like a woman. And there's old Austin Johnson again. Uh, So this guy is nuzzling his ear and or nuzzling her ear and all this stuff, and she keeps saying, "I want to watch the movie. I want to watch the movie." And he's obviously getting angry and frustrated. She wants him to listen to every word of the dialogue, and he's not having any of it. She's like, "Did you hear what he said?" And there's Mr. Engelson, and he's parking and trying to see stuff that he oughtn't to be seeing. So she's kind of giving in a little bit, just a little bit. So he thinks he's finally getting somewhere. He's getting her clothes up, but so Zine, like, she's like in mid kiss with him, and some of the expressions she's making. Um, so John Goff's character is like, "Oh, he's looking at us, kiss me." And he's the other guy's like, "You stay on your side of the car." So this movie does have a lot of the typical slasher movie tropes. You just saw bare breasts there. Um, I mean, there's not like I don't think there's like gratuitous nudity like I've seen in some movies, but you do get a little TNA in action in this. So Jeremy comes over there and he's kind of like see, they're all got these disguises and stuff. And they're like, we see Jeremy now. Can you move? So we got it under control. Don't draw attention to us. And there's Austin Johnson there, and he's looking for Jeremy, of course. And Jeremy wants to know why John Goff's character's dressed like that. So he thinks John Goff is a woman. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am." And the other cop, he's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And telling them not to bother his help because he's got work to do. I think probably what really got, you know, uh, where this movie got the most money, I would assume is not by sales of the movie now, although it probably sold pretty good for people wanting it for a nostalgia reason. But I would imagine where this movie really made its money was during the drive-in days because it catered to that audience. So we're literally almost an hour in, just shy of 10 minutes of being an hour into the movie. And then there's a handful of minutes left. Um, so again, it's like I said, there's not a whole lot of, as Joe Ball would say, there's not any plot getting away in the way of the story. Okay, not a complicated movie by any stretch of the imagination. It moves pretty fast. Um, so the guy, maybe he's calmed down a little bit and he's coming back to check on his woman. And damn, don't you guys hate when that happens when you come back to see your date and her head falls off? Yeah. So the cops kind of missed out on that. Oh no. So Mr. Engelson is also dead. So if you had any doubts about whether he was the killer or not, there's your answer there. And Austin Johnson's complaining once again that, like, because they pulled him in there to talk to him, and he says probably all his staff is just ripping him off. So now Jeremy is running errands for the cops, bringing them sandwiches and stuff like that. And then Austin Johnson snatches one. The You got the brains of wet liver. And he calls him a puke. So they're telling Austin Johnson that they want him to close the drive-in down because it's dangerous, and he's pretty much not wanting to do that. Guys, I'm going to step away for just a second to go grab something. I'll be right back. Texas, you say Jeremy is a sea captain. Texas, you say I love pretty much all of H.D. Lewis's movies. I used to have a few of those movies on the Comet VHS years ago. Um, yeah, I was thinking used to have, and I probably still do somewhere. I used to have a VHS, a Blood Feast. Um, back when Joe Bob was doing those. Oh, what were they called? I don't know if it was like worst movies or I'm trying to remember what the label was. I can't remember. Maybe maybe some of you might remember. Can't believe I can't remember that now. TJ, you said the budget went to that guy's paisley jackets. LOL. Yeah, it must have. I mean, wow. So I believe that Austin Johnson has fired Jeremy at this point. And I'm not sure if Jeremy has found another carnival or he's just thinking back to when Mr. Van Usen had the carnival. I'm not sure. And there's the Scrambler. I remember riding that a lot. Or at least that's what we call it. And there's the Spider. I mean, I know a lot of these rides go by different names. I never rode that thing, the big spinning wheel thing. Um, I don't really know why. Um, I was scared to ride that one when I would ride all these other things. Um, I mean, I rode on things that, the Tilt-A-Whirl, the Tempest, all that stuff that would spin like that. But for some reason, I was always afraid I might get sick on um, that big wheel that would spin and turn up on its side and spin. Okay, so here's the scenes. There's Buck Flowers, and I believe his daughter, his real daughter. Um, I don't know. This scene seems to virtually come out of nowhere. Um, why, other than a scene that had Buck Flowers in, but we could have had Buck Flowers in it anywhere. He could have played the bum at the drive-in. Um, because I never really thought of this guy as a suspect, at least for the drive-in killing. This guy's just some crazy old dude that has killed his wife, evidently, and may have killed one or more of his children, but this is one of his children. And she's begging for her life pretty much. But he doesn't refer to as his daughter. He just keeps calling her little girl. So I got the subtitles turned on for this on YouTube. But in all honesty, there's some pretty bad ones because it keeps saying applause. There's not any applause in this movie. So he's telling the girl that he's going to cut the poison out of her. But he pretty much has a machete, so he doesn't have a sword. Texas, you say it's the poor man's Mr. Fringe as the killer. That's hilarious. But I don't ever, and do they really need to explain it? No. But I don't remember anybody ever explaining why this scene was here. Brandon's kind of awake a little bit. So usually Buck Flowers he doesn't usually play characters like this. He might play oddball characters, usually homeless guys or drunks or something like that. But in this movie, although it's weird and strange even for this movie that they would just put this in here, um, this is a totally off the wall character for Buck Flowers, I think. DJ says Texas, so that means he killed Jody and Buffy. Well, I am sincerely hoping that you guys are, since we're getting more towards the end of the film, I hope you have been enjoying it. For all the cheesiness that this movie offers, because yeah, it is cheesy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. So the cops are rushing to get to this warehouse or whatever it is, um, and see what's going on with Buck Flowers. So this guy outside was telling them what was going on. Texas, you say you might have, and Kathy escaped. TJ, you said my favorite Buck Flowers role is the janitor and sorority babes in the slime ball bowl-o-rama. Yeah, that was a cool role for him, I think. So somebody actually put this version of Driving Massacre on YouTube on Halloween of 2020. I was expecting this to have, this video, not mine, but this video of Driving Massacre. I was expecting it to have more views, and it only has 276, so still under 300 views. I was kind of hoping to see some comments that people had made for it. Some people probably would have said it's a piece of shit, which, they're totally entitled to say that. But, I think if you say it's a total piece of shit, and keep in mind, this is only my opinion, guys, that you're totally, I think, missing the point of this movie. This movie is not made as a serious movie. It is not meant to be taken seriously. And it sadly, if you're taking it seriously, you are obviously watching it for the wrong reasons. Me, on the other hand, I like to watch this movie just for fun, and not for any other reason other than that. This is definitely not meant to be a serious horror film. So they shot Buck Flowers' character. Again, other than having Buck Flowers in here, or to pad out the movie, because the movie's short anyway. Um, so now the girl is all angry. She's saying he didn't mean to. He didn't mean to kill my mother and my aunt. He's sick. He broke out of the hospital just this morning. So they were thinking, I mean, I guess that's the other reason to put him in here, but it was kind of late in the game to be putting him in there. That they thought potentially he could be the killer. I think they were, in fact, pretty sure that he was the killer at the drive-in. So there's old Austin Johnson, and he's going into his little, I guess, projection booth. Um, and there's Jeremy, who surprisingly, I believe, has Mr. Van Heusen's sword collection, which he's trying to get away with there. So at this point, we're not sure what did happen to Mr. Van Heusen. I mean, is he dead? Did somebody kill him with his own swords? Did he leave Jeremy his swords? Um, and the other girl that works to drive in, and she's telling him, "You can't go in there, Jeremy." Um, and he says, "I got Mr. Van Heusen's sword and knife collection. I've been hiding it." And now he's just basically going to tell Austin Johnson he's quitting and taking the sword collection with him. And he wants his money that Austin Johnson owes him. So We got about 3 minutes left of this film, guys. So Jeremy's going in the production booth. The other girl that works there is waiting outside. The cops are rushing to get back to the drive-in. So they're seeing on the screen the shadow of somebody getting stabbed with a sword. So we're not sure, what has happened here. Did Jeremy stab Austin Johnson with the sword? Did Austin Johnson stab? It appears that somebody is stabbing Austin Johnson. So she's all upset, and she says they're in there, and the cops are getting ready to go in there. They're asking her, who's in there? Who's in there? So now they're in there, and she's losing her mind. Um, so they're telling her like to tell people to scream and make as much noise as possible. That there's a killer in the drive-in. So what's behind this door here? Oh man, and that looks like Jeremy, with his arm cut off and the sword through his throat. Okay. So then we see the senseless bloodbath at Grifta, California drive-in has spread to other theaters throughout the country. Authorities say there are no clues to the killer's identity and no end to the horror in sight. The killer could strike again, anywhere, anytime. Who will be next? And also, here now we have the ladies and gentlemen. This is the manager. Do not panic. There is a murderer. I repeat, do not panic. The police are on the way. And so that's how the film ends. And you will see again why I said at the beginning of this that this movie's heyday was in the drive-in days, because they had that little extra stinger at the end where they could make people believe for a few seconds or so that maybe there was a killer in the drive-in. Maybe this was based kind of on a true thing or something. And probably word of mouth got around to people. Somebody would go to the drive-in and see it, and they wouldn't specifically tell people what was going to happen, because you'd want to keep that a secret, right? So they probably said, "Oh, there's this movie, Drive-In Massacre, that's come out, and you got to go see it and wait till the end." So again, I find this movie a lot of fun. I hope you guys, all five or six of you that were in here for the majority of the time, if not all of the time, enjoyed this film. I certainly enjoyed watching it again. It's a fun little movie to just, spend an afternoon with, and, you'll get done in time where you can actually do something else if you want to, or watch another movie. Doesn't really take a lot of time out of your day if you watch this. I cannot recall if Steve and I ever did a commentary for this one. We may have. Perhaps if we haven't, I could talk him into it at some point in time. I'm really wanting to get Steve to do a watch along for the Wendigo, like Frostbite, or um, the Wendigo movie, which is, oh my gosh, that is insanely fun. That movie is. I really had never heard of it till Steve was telling me about it, and then we watched it, and I waited, thankfully, for it to come down in price a little bit, and then bought it. So now I have my own copy of Frostbiter. Um, so I'm probably going to get off of here shortly. Um, I'd say about 9 o'clock. I'll get off here so I can finish my cake, and do a few other things and get settled down for the night. I got to finish icing my cake and putting the little fondant bunnies and things like that on it for tomorrow. Is there anything anybody wants to ask me before I get off of here for the night, or does anybody have any more suggestions for some future watch alongs or future streams or any of that sort of things? And again, I want to remind everybody that I'll probably, unless I'm just completely wiped out from Easter, tomorrow evening, I should be doing another Sunday night trash where I cover some more of those Bleeding Skull recommendations from their site for trashy movies. Um, Monday, I'll be covering the next 10 episodes of the original Twin Peaks series. I have the new season, I guess, is what you would say. The third season on its way to me now, which should be here by tomorrow. And even though it's Easter, I think Amazon will probably deliver it. Um, and so when I finish the first two seasons of the original Twin Peaks run, I'm going to do a separate set of streams on that newer season, the season three, technically, that takes place about 25 years after the original Twin Peaks shows. Okay, Tuesday will be another Hitchcock Hitchcock stream with Kelly and I, barring anything going on. Uh, and I haven't really asked TJ about this, but TJ, if you're still in here, would you want to continue our little Wednesday thing and try doing um, some episodes of Monsters? I figure, we can. I can't. I'm gonna have to look and see how many seasons there actually were of Monsters. But I figure if you wanted to do it, we could do it like we did the Tales from the Dark Side and just kind of split the seasons up, where we do half of the shows one Wednesday and half of the shows from the season the following Wednesday, and we just go through them like that. Um, so you don't have to necessarily answer right away if you want to think about it. That is fine. But I really enjoy doing the episode breakdowns for Tales from the Dark Side with TJ, and I'm kind of wanting to keep the ball rolling in that, albeit with a different series. Now, that's not to say that other people can't join in. As with the Hitchcock streams. I mean, it's mainly me and Kelly doing those. But if anybody ever wants to jump in at any point in time and talk about some of their favorite Hitchcock films, I would have absolutely no objections to that. Um, again, I don't know if I'm going to do anything Thursday. More than likely, will not be doing anything on Friday, but that will bring us to the weekend where April 15th, I will be doing a ghost house watch along, which should be a lot of fun. Um, so TJ says, Happy Easter Passover, everyone. And Texas says, Happy Easter, everyone, and Happy Easter to you guys. I hope that you guys are going to be spending some time with your families tomorrow. And I hope everybody has a very, very happy Easter. Okay. TJ, you say give you a couple of weeks. Gotta see if I can find all the episodes to go over. Sure. Um, I'm sure I can do something else on a couple of Wednesdays to give you time to do that. I mean, I'm gonna have to rewatch the shows. I've got the whole series on DVD that I bought a while back, so I'm good on that. But like I said, I'll have to refresh myself as well. So we've probably got another few seconds here before 9 p.m. So if there's anything anybody else wants to bring up or, say, hey, Dana, have you ever thought about doing a stream on this? I will certainly consider any and all suggestions. So I don't want to say speak now or forever hold your peace because, I'll be back on here tomorrow night, more than likely, blabbing about something again for another Sunday Night Trash episode. So, if you think it's anything in the meantime and people show up for the Sunday Night Trash tomorrow night, then that will be great. I mean, it doesn't have to be tonight. It can be anytime. So I'm not sure who Simbob Morena is, but thank you for stopping by. But I am going to be getting off of here now. So, feel free to stop by next time, which will be tomorrow night with Sunday Night Trash, more than likely at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So, with all that being said, I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night now and a very happy Easter, and I will see many of you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.